There we go. So everything that they do is essentially to distract us. It's to distract us from the power that we have within ourselves. They know for a fact that if we find our true power, that they have no control over us. You can't control someone that is in a perpetual state of love, that is in a perpetual state of abundance, that is authentic to its core. You can only control someone that is in a perpetual state of fear. So that's why everything that you see in the media, in the news, everything that you see, it's all fear mongering, because they want to keep you in that low vibrational state, and that's where they can control us. So we have these little hidden rulers of this matrix system, if you will. The governments, corporations, media, they're all owned by the same powerful people, the people that are at the top, the elites, if you will. I call them the parasites of this world. And the wealth and the power are concentrated all at the top. So these people are the ones who actually print all of the money and all of the wealth, which we're going to get into. It's not actually backed by anything. So it's essentially fake, doesn't even exist. And they kind of dangle it in front of us. It's numbers on a screen. And that's pretty much how they have established this control and these control mechanisms. And what you'll start to notice is all these countries that we go to war with, they end up being countries that don't have these like central banks, these, Federal Reserve banks, if you will. And what happens is we go to war with these banks and they end up having this central bank. So that's how they really ended up dominating and controlling the majority of the world, is by pretty much controlling the money supply. And again, once you're able to see these things very clearly, that's when you're able to escape and take back your power, because you stop slaving in their system. You stop conforming to what society wants you to conform to, and you start carving your own path. You start realizing, hey, I've been lied to pretty much about everything in life. So what else are they hiding from me? That's the biggest thing. And I say it all the time. Like, the biggest thing that they're hiding is you. They're hiding you from you. They're hiding you from your divine power found within. And once you figure out how powerful you truly are, you can create anything you desire, anything you desire. You just have to cultivate that peace within yourself. And it's difficult in this world, right? That's why I've created this community, because first of all, we can all learn from each other. And second of all, I understand how powerful it is when people come together. We all have a similar mindset. We're all focusing on similar outcomes, focusing on more abundance, focusing on growth, focusing on more peace, whatever it might be. We can attain all of these things together in a much quicker rate, because, like I said, there is so much more power in numbers. The vibrational frequency of groups is much higher than individuals. So we have to understand too that democracy is an illusion. Decisions are always made behind closed doors. When you have the the choice, if you will, to choose one of two sides, they're all, at the end of the day, they're all supporting the exact same people, and it's all people behind the closed doors. And you have to really see beyond the illusion. Even with what's happening in America, with Trump being elected, seemingly on the outside, it looks good. Things are, starting to look a little bit more bright, like they're taking down the pharmaceutical industry, all this stuff. But at the end of the day, you can still kind of see that there are, these forces behind that are pulling the strings. So you always have to be weary, especially with politics, with everything that's coming out, because at the end of the day, the majority of things that we do see are a psyop. And that's why you have to kind of decide for yourself. And you can't just like go with what everyone else says. The real truth is right here. And you can't lie to someone that has found themselves. That's the biggest thing. When your eye is open, when your mind is open, it is extremely hard to get a lie through. It just doesn't resonate. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make sense. Right? So all the things that are going on in the media, everything that's going on in politics, I believe it's all a stage. It always has been a stage, that we don't actually have a true choice, that there is an agenda that's being pushed. The only choice that we do have is to focus on ourselves and to build ourselves up as much as possible. That way we can experience a different reality than what they want. And that's the biggest thing. So it's all an illusion at the end of the day. Guys, too, if you guys have any questions and you want to stop me the whole way through here, just let me know. No problem whatsoever. But at the end, I'll open it up for some Q&As as well. So going back to money, money is the biggest control mechanism that these people have in place. It's an illusion, right? And debt is modern day slavery. So they print money out of thin air. It's not backed by anything. If you don't actually know where money comes from, this is one of the biggest steps in awakening. So research fractional reserve banking, how we give these banks the power to print money, once again, not backed anything. It's not backed by the gold standard or anything like that. And then what they do is they actually loan us out this money, which actually isn't printed. It's just numbers on a screen. Like if you pull up your calculator right now on your phone and type in a bunch of numbers on the screen, that's what money is. That's all it is. And so when you go get a loan at a bank, that's all they do. Boom, 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 loan it out to you. And then you're paying interest on that specific loan. So it's that debt that is actually real. And about 3% of the money supply is notes and coins. The rest is just numbers on a screen. So the debt is what keeps people enslaved. And if you can be the person at the top printing money out of thin air, right? And it doesn't exist, and you are loaning it to the person below you, and they're giving up their working hours to pay back that loan, again, for something that doesn't exist, you now have them in, chains. That's quite literally modern day slavery. So it sucks hearing this, because we're all a part of the system. We all have to make money. But when you truly understand where money comes from and how it works, you can start to break and hack the matrix. One second, guys. Sorry about that. You can start to break and hack the matrix and create a life of abundance on your own, because it's all found within. And at the end of the day, money is energy, right? So you can match your frequency and tune into that specific energy and start attracting. Most people make the mistake of chasing. And when you chase something, what's the opposite doing? It's always running away, right? So you need to start attracting, and then things start falling in your lap everywhere you go. So inflation erodes real wealth while the elites gain more power. And that's exactly what happens. Every single year, everything goes up, right? So it's the rich that get richer, and the middle class gets eliminated, and the poor get more poor, because assets go through the roof, and the rich just buy more assets, and then the poor can't buy the assets because they're too expensive. And that's exactly what you see in society. Everything that you see in society is 100% designed to be exactly the way it is. None of it's, by accident. It's all on purpose. And when you truly understand that, and you truly see beyond the illusion that they're trying to sell you, then that's when you can start taking your power back. Like I said, none of this stuff, guys, is to fearmonger. It's not to keep you in fear. You have to understand in order to escape. My awakening started with this side, right? My awakening started with seeing the chemtrails in the air and seeing the fluoride in the water and all the control mechanisms that were in place, and understanding fractional reserve banking and knowing that I was a slave and I couldn't escape and all this stuff. This is where my awakening started, and it was very, very dark, and it was very scary because I didn't find the light yet. But there is no light without the dark, right? It's yin and yang. You wouldn't be able to recognize light if there was no dark. You wouldn't be able to recognize love if there was no evil. So yes, you have to understand the evil that is going on in the world in order to find your light. You can't be ignorant to the truth. And once you find your light, that's when you take your power back. That's when you create whatever reality you desire. And that's when society does not have any more shackles on you. It can no longer control you. So that's the whole purpose here. True abundance comes from within, not from chasing material wealth. And that's exactly what it is. Once you start to get on a vibration and understand that you are an unlimited being, and your birthright is to have as much abundance as you possibly desire, then that's when you start taking your power back. And that's when you start creating more wealth. And that's when you create more freedom and really start living life on your own terms. So this is a big one too, big pharma and the medical industry. For someone that understands exactly why these are in place, you'll start to avoid any sort of pharmaceuticals, any sort of system that they want to keep you in, because at the end of the day, it's just a cyclical cycle. They create the consumer, which is the disease, and then they create the cure, which doesn't do anything. It just masks and keeps you consuming, right? So it keeps us sick and dependent. And that's exactly what we see in society. We live in the unhealthiest age of human beings that's probably ever existed. I truly believe that. And it's been absolutely done on purpose. There is no coincidence to this whatsoever. Cooking with seed oils, the GMOs in the food, again, the fluoride in the water, spraying pesticides, all that stuff. Exactly. Create the sickness and sell the cure. It's 100% fact. And they've done a very, very good job of indoctrinating people. And I always say that doctors are indoctrinated, right? Because you go to school and you just learn one side of things. You don't learn that, nature is medicine and that the cure is always in nature and you can find cures for everything. They don't learn about, emotions and how emotions are energy in motion and stored emotions within the body create sickness. So we have to actually, get to the root of what's causing these diseases. And that's typically, maybe traumatic experiences, some sort of thing that we went through in the past, even ancestral trauma. It's carried in our DNA for 7 generations. They've proved this scientifically. It's wild, right? They don't teach you any of these things. They don't teach you about the real nutrition. Exactly. They just provide meds. And that's because they don't know about real tradition or real nutrition. Sorry. They don't actually know about it. They were never taught about it. And that's why you should always seek out like herbalists and, people that genuinely know how to heal from the earth. So cures are suppressed to favor lifelong treatments. And that's exactly what happens. It's this cyclical cycle of consuming. So we have processed foods, toxins, and pharmaceuticals. They fuel a cycle of disease. So like I said, all the GMOs in the food, even like our fruits and our vegetables, the majority of it's poison. If you're not eating like organic stuff, then you're essentially eating poison. And that's the most difficult part about this because they make it so expensive to eat healthy, right? You're better off fasting than eating like a GMO, food, GMO fruits, GMO vegetables, all that stuff, because, it's synthetically grown and it's sprayed and it's not good for the body. And they know this. They know what the cure is. So they tried their best to poison the cures, which is, food. So the mind-body connection is ignored in favor of synthetic solutions. Exactly. Shilajit is great for detoxing these poisons. Yeah, 100%. There's a plethora. And we were talking about this the other day on the call. Anytime there is some sort of like combative issue against our internal system, consciousness always comes up with a way to, overthrow it. There's always like that equal and opposing force. It always happens. So, they spray chemtrails on us every single day, which are full of heavy metals, toxins, all this stuff. And Shilajit, which comes from the earth, once again, is a great way to detox and pull these heavy metals out of your body. As well as, activated charcoal. These things are really good binders and they can help flush out the body of these toxins. There's many things, chlorella, like really leafy greens. All these things are really, really helpful. The poison world. So we were talking about this a little bit. So our air, our water, and our food supply, they're all tainted. That's why it's super important. I made a video. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I go fill up my water at a local spring. I don't drink tap water because I know what tap water does to us. Fluoride is a direct attack on our consciousness. It is a known neurotoxin. It is a brain toxin and it calcifies the pineal gland. That's why you see most people walking around in that like zombie state, right? Because they're drinking the tap water. It's pretty simple. They know these things and, they'll give the excuse, oh, we add it to the water because we want to better your teeth health. Like once you're awake, the lies just get so incredibly stupid. You know what I mean? Like it's laughable. It's like, oh, you're spending billions of dollars to fluoridate the water to better our teeth health. Like when have you ever like cared about our health? Like someone could be on their absolute deathbed, can't afford insulin. You will let them die. You will let them die, but you're going to like put billions of dollars to better our teeth. Yeah, for sure. It doesn't make any sense. So they're putting fluoride in the water to directly attack our consciousness and to keep people in this like, zombie state where they're more susceptible to the fear programming. They're more susceptible to just follow the herd and not carve their own path, right? It lowers IQ, especially in children, right? That's why they attack children so much too, because they know children are the next generation. So the people that are, quote unquote woke can't be unwoken. 1 second here. So what they do is they try their hardest to purport their agenda to the children and to poison the children at the end of the day. And when a child is a newborn to when it's 5 years old, that's when its brain develops the most, right? So that's why there's so much programming. We see this in society now. All this bullshit that they try to purport to our kids that we're not standing for, they're doing for a reason, because they're literally trying to brainwash them. That's why from such a young age, they send us to like these indoctrination camps and they teach us these things that literally mean nothing in life. They don't mean anything. They don't translate to life, right? We're never taught how to grow food. We're never taught about, how to take care of our bodies the proper way. We're never taught about sun gazing and meditation. We're never taught about, going out and putting our feet on the ground and how we can connect to the earth and we can harness the free flowing electrons of Mother Gaia and detox our body in turn. We're not taught about these things. We're taught how to calculate acute angles and all this, nonsense that doesn't translate to life, right? So once again, once you're able to see the illusions, it's much easier to break free from them, but you have to be able to see it. And for anyone that's new in here, that just came into the presentation, none of this stuff is to purport any sort of fear. All of it is for educational purposes, to understand how the system actually works, and then in turn break free from it and find our light. There is nothing to fear, because when you find your light, you find the God within you, you can create whatever reality you desire, and you're going to walk in complete harmony with everything. But there is that opposing force, which is what we're presenting right now. So we have the chemtrails and pollution contaminant in the air that we breathe, like I was talking. Toxic personal care products. So like pretty much everything that, we put on our skin. Our skin is the biggest organ on our body. It absorbs everything, right? So, from soaps to makeup to anything, you got to be very, very careful about what you're, consuming. Eyes, mouth, and ears, and what you're putting on your skin. Then we have the distraction machine. And like I said, I always talk about this. I talk about this a lot in my videos, is everything in society, every single thing that you see externally from yourself, guys, everything, it is all specifically designed to distract you from yourself. They do not want you knowing how incredibly powerful you are. That is why they make up all of these lies about like the Big Bang Theory and all of this came from nothing and there is no significance to life and you don't have a creator that cares for you or anything like that, right? All of it is a distraction. The media, the news, sports, your phone, your television, TV shows, all of it is like they've done such a good job on distracting us from this. They do not want you to figure out how powerful you are. And when you start figuring out your power, you'll understand why. Oh, I get it now. I get why they're like, I genuinely, me, myself, understand why they're hiding this, because this is more powerful than anything that they can do. They can't lie to me. They can't do anything because I understand who I am and the power that I have inside me. I understand that I can create whatever reality I desire. I understand that I can do anything in this life. I can inspire millions of people. I can do anything. And when you get to that point, that's when they completely lost control over you. So this is a good point. They don't want us thinking because at the end of the day, they can't control us. And that's exactly what it is. So it's all these fear-based narratives that they push on us that keeps us in survival mode. I said this earlier. The only way you can control someone is if you keep them in a perpetual state of fear. Like, look at the whole COVID scandal. That all they were doing was they were purporting all this fear in the media. But what did you actually see with your own senses? What did you view? Right? Did you see bodies in the street? Did you see ambulances going here and there and everywhere else? Did you actually see like a pandemic? Or is it just what you saw on your television? Would there have been a pandemic if there was no televisions? Television, right? It's pure mind control. That's all it is at the end of the day. That's why they call it a remote control. That's why it's called a tell-lie vision, because it tells lies to you visually. It programs your mind, right? So when you start to understand that everything is programming you in a certain way, that's why they spend billions of dollars on advertising, guys, because they understand the power of the subconscious mind. They know that it's the collective consciousness that holds the matrix up like glue. So what they do is, everyone's like, oh, The Simpsons always predicts these things. It's not a prediction. What they're doing is they're purporting what they want into the minds of the masses. Therefore, we actually manifest it, right? That's why when you create communities like this and we all come together, say if we're all sitting here and doing a meditation together, we will raise and spike the electromagnetic frequency of the earth, just ourselves. It's crazy. It actually works like this. And we can create whatever reality we desire. It's powerful in numbers, and they know this. They know that collectively, if we all wake up to who we truly are, we're going to take back our power and we're going to create a better reality. And in turn, they'll be flush, they'll be white. That's just how it works. But because they have control over the majority of people, because the majority of people are in fear, that's what we need to get over. So the work culture ensures that people have no time for deep thinking. And that's a big thing. It's just like, it's this conveyor belt of life where you spend all day in school, and then you spend all day in your job. And then it's just like this conveyor belt that they keep people on, where we don't actually have the time nor the energy to think for ourselves, right? I specifically remember this part of my life. Like, we all had a stage in our lives before our awakening, before waking up to these things, where we were on this conveyor belt, where it's just like, you get home and you're just like, you're drained, and you just want to watch TV or something. You don't want to go to the gym or nothing. That's just how it is. But now it's like you start to understand these things. You're like, no, I need to do the things that I know I need to do every single day to continue building my power, to continue being able to create any reality I desire, to stay away from this system. And then we have obviously the division tactics. And this is 101 of control, right? Like, it's divide and conquer, because again, they know that if we come together, if we start to understand that we are all one, that we're all just different branches of this tree, we're all just different extensions of this source, that's when we create anything we want. That's when society comes together and says, fuck these people. Like, these parasites that have been controlling us at the top, they no longer serve us, and they've never served us. So we can just get rid of them and create another reality for ourselves. But what they do is they divide us with races, with borders, with, everything. Like, there's so much division in society right now, and it's just divide and conquer. We're all fighting amongst each other instead of realizing what the real issues at the top are. And that's what's been going on for a long time. And then we have religion. So this is a little bit of a sensitive topic, because a lot of people were born into religion. And I'm here to tell you authentically that religion is a form of control. And the reason for this is because there is a lot of truth in a lot of these religions. Don't get me wrong. I grew up a Christian. I was baptized. I studied the Bible. There is a lot of truth. But the consistent message within religion is to get people to focus externally from themselves. When you focus externally from yourself and put all of your faith and power in this external source, it cuts you off from the divine powers found within. Therefore, you're going to stay in this system. You're not going to escape the matrix. You escape the matrix by looking within yourself, by raising your dominant vibration. So the more that you look within and raise your dominant vibration, understand that you don't need to follow anything. You know what? God is within you. And I always say that if God was to hide one place in this world, he would hide within man, because that's the last place man would look. And that's the truth. Man would look everywhere else except for within himself. And when you start to truly sit with yourself, truly look within, raise your own vibration, you start to experience the magic of the creator everywhere you go. These beautiful synchronicities continue to happen. The divine guidance continues to happen. You'll feel this army of angels, this angelic force around you at all times. It's the most beautiful path you can walk. It's also the most difficult. But the most difficult path equals the most rewarding future, right? So that's why, everything that I've done in my life every step that I've taken, it's like the path of most resistance, if you will. And if you do the hard things first in life, guys, your life will become easy. If you do the easy things first, your life will become hard. Psalms 46:10, be still and know that I am God. Perfect. It's like literally perfect. It's right there. It's right in front of your face. Be still and know that I am God. What does that mean? Be still. Look within yourself and know that it's right here. Jesus also said the kingdom of heaven is within you. It's the temple of God. It's all within you. They're all like these metaphors for, your body. Jesus dies at 33. There's 33 vertebrae to the spine. That's where your sacred energy raises up your spine. Pierces your third eye. You become a living manifestation of divine. You open the third eye. That's the eye in which God sees. So super interesting stuff, guys. Like I said, the true power lies within you. Connection to source energy is all within ourselves. This is the main thing that I teach. It's like, if I can get people to connect with this divine power found within, they will have the most beautiful life ever. That's what they're hiding you from. It's not easy. I've been doing this for over 10 years, transmuting negative forces within myself, going through the dark night of the soul, meditating, doing breath work, getting to the gym every single day, taking care of my mind, my body, my soul, putting the right things in my body, supplementing, Shilajit, CMOS, just really, really taking care of myself in all areas of life, writing affirmations, programming my subconscious mind in the way that I want to program it, not society. This is the key. So I have so much experience with this path and so much knowledge about, the things that happen along this journey that I didn't have access to when I was going through it, right? So there were so many times throughout my journey where I was going through these cyclical cycles, and I was like, why do I keep repeating the same experiences over and over and over again? And the majority of people who walk this path, they tend to repeat their experiences. They tend to have a lot of lessons on repeat, and it's literally just because they're not learning. It's because they're not truly picking the lessons out of those experiences and moving on. And I was a victim of this for a while. I'm like, why do I keep going through this? Why? Instead of, what is this trying to teach me? Right? I didn't understand that, metaphysically, when you start to raise the energy throughout your energy centers within your body, they're all blocked by certain emotions, by certain feelings, by past trauma. So, you're feeling this roller coaster of emotions, and one day you're super, super up, and one day you're super, super down. It's like, why am I feeling this way? Now I understand that I'm feeling this way because I have these trapped emotions within the body that I need to transmute. So now, instead of pushing them down, I can sit there and I can focus on them, and I could see where, okay, if I have this anxious feeling in my stomach, I'm not going to just ignore it. I'm going to sit with it. I'm going to put my energy to it. And now memories start coming up from the past, things that I forgot about, this indigestible anger that I might have had, betrayal, abandonment, all of these things. I'm like, wow, this is what's causing this. Now I can go back to that person and forgive and let go. And now I'm better. And now it's new levels, new devils, right? So I truly understand the path. And that's why I'm able to help people that go down this road in this journey, because my awakening was super gradual. It was over this 10-year period where I was learning all these lessons, but I was doing it alone. And now I'm in the position where it's okay, I understand what you're going through, and this is what you need to focus on and what you should be doing to, get over the hump. And it just really speeds up the process for sure. So obviously ancient wisdom and inner enlightenment have been suppressed, right? We've never ever been taught how to sit with ourselves and meditate. We've never been taught about esoteric knowledge and wisdom. We've never been taught about, the ancients and our true history, because history in itself is his story, right? It's just simply the victors who write the history books, and they'll write it to their needs. So everything we've been taught is a lie as far as history is concerned. It's very easy to see, when you go back and you observe the pyramids, and it's oh yeah, slaves built them. That's absolute garbage. That is absolute garbage. That makes zero sense. We if we had slaves to this day, we can't build those pyramids. We had slaves right now trying to build, we can't do it. It's not possible. The coordinates, the very precise mathematics within the pyramids, the weight of them, everything, it's impossible. And these are found all over the world. It's not just in Egypt. They're found all over. These structures are found all over the world. And then you start getting into like the free energy technology and what Tesla rediscovered, and you start to find out about Tartaria and, you know, like these societies that absolutely thrived and then were wiped out and left out of our history books. People that talk about them, they end up, you know, dead or whatever. It's very interesting, right? But you start to realize that everything has been a lie, from our history to where we live to the structure of this plane. It's all been a lie. Yeah, William Reich, the father of bioenergetics. Yeah, he discovered orgone energy, and there's just so much information out there that was suppressed from us. But the beautiful thing is we live in this, like, in this age where information is abundant. It's all at our fingertips, right? But I always say too, it's like what you seek is also seeking you. So you don't even need to like do all the research and look. Like, it's all exists as a vibration, guys. You have to understand that everything exists as a vibration and frequency. Nikola Tesla said this very famously. He said that there is I forget the exact quote he said, but essentially he said that there is a force out there, or a source of information that he gets his inspiration from, his downloads from, and he hasn't, you know, tapped into like the nature of what it is, but he know that it exists. And the ancients used to call it, you know, the Akashic records. And I just view it as like a vibrational frequency. So when people ask me, they're like, Sheldon, where do you get all this like wisdom and information from? It's like, it's within. When you start to align your frequency and you vibrate on a higher frequency, this information just falls in your lap and it resonates with you. It resonates deep within your soul. And you're like, that's the truth right there. This is all bullshit. And that's exactly why they want to keep you in that low vibration, because then you don't understand these things. That's why when I'm speaking about something, if I'm like, hey, gravity's a hoax, someone that's in a low vibration is going to fight that automatically, even though I can come with like some tangible physical evidence and like logic, right? If I'm going to sit there and say that gravity has never been proven, it's never, ever been proven. It's literally just a theory that's never, ever been proven. But science is something that's observable, measurable, and repeatable. Well, let's look at density. If something is more dense than its medium, it'll sink like a rock in water. If something is less dense than the medium, it'll float like a helium in air. Helium is less dense than air, therefore it floats. That is science. It's observable, measurable, and repeatable. You can test it over and over and over again, and it always works. The ancients knew this. It's always been density and buoyancy. And they're like, oh, you know, gravity, it holds the weight of the oceans down, but it lets a butterfly fly gracefully throughout the air. And people are like, thank you. Thanks for that information. I won't question that. That's because they're in low vibrational frequency. That's exactly what that is. When you're in a high vibration, you know that's bullshit right away. You know that's garbage. That makes zero sense, right? So raise your vibration. That's the main thing. So understanding all of this stuff, guys, in my personal experience, like I said, it started with the dark side of things. It led me to the path of awakening. It led me to find out who I truly was, because I understood that they were hiding more. I understood. I'm like, when I was introduced to meditation, the first time that I ever tried meditation, I fell in love with it, because it was quite literally an out-of-body experience. When people view meditation from the outside that haven't actually got into it and haven't got into like these transcendental, deep states of meditation, maybe out-of-body experiences, they just think that you're sitting there closing your eyes and you're relaxing. It is much deeper than that. Prayer is how you talk to God. Meditation is how you connect to this source. When you connect to this source, you start to walk with this source. You start to experience this source everywhere you go. You start to raise your vibration. The problem is we have an average of 60,000 thoughts per day. Most people repeat those thoughts, 95% of those thoughts the day after. That's why they repeat their experiences. Most people are in their heads. They're overthinking all the time. Well, what do? We got to get control of what's happening here. People spend time in the gym. They work out all the muscles on their body, but they don't work out the most important one, the one that creates the reality, right? So instead of being a victim of our thoughts, we through meditation, through observation, we start to understand that we're not our thoughts. We're the observer of our thoughts. If we were our thoughts, we wouldn't be able to observe them. So we start to detach from our thoughts. When we detach from our thoughts, we start to only give power to prosperous thoughts because we understand that our thoughts create reality. So when we have a negative thought come in, maybe a thought of lack, maybe I'm not good enough, whatever, automatically through this process, you start to understand, hey, that thought is not me. And you just let it go. You don't give it any power. You don't let it fuel your emotions, which creates your reality. And then we have these prosperous thoughts that come in. These thoughts of abundance, these thoughts of freedom, these thoughts of creating any reality we desire, these high vibrational thoughts, then we give them power. That's what I want to think. That's what I want to feel. Those thoughts create feelings. Those feelings are a vibrational frequency that's put out to the ether and it's reflected back. And it starts creating that reality. So the more that we do this, the more control we get over that specifically. The best thing we got to do, though, is we have to unplug from the system. We unplug from the system by plugging into ourselves. That's the biggest thing. And this is where I'm at right now, is just spreading awareness and raising the collective consciousness. It's like I've done this for myself and I've filled up my cup so much. I've been in solitude for so many years, guys. I've been in solitude for so many years. And then I've just like come out of this shell and I'm like able to teach and to help people and to spread this wisdom and to not give a fuck what anyone else thinks, right? Like, because I know that the people that are ready are going to hear the message and they're going to resonate with the message because the message is truth. And the people that aren't ready, they're gonna send hate my way, and that's fine. You know what I mean? That's just the nature of things. It's the yin and the yang. I don't focus on it. I focus on the love. I focus on, if I can help one. This was my like motto back in the day. I started YouTube, and I did a YouTube video every single day for like a year, and every single video didn't get more than like 15 views, but I kept doing it. And the reason that I kept doing it was because there was one person who was commenting on every single video. He was commenting on he watched every single one of my videos, and he was commenting on every single one. And I knew I was helping this one person. And I've always stuck to this truth where it's like, if you can help one person, you can change the entire world. And I truly believe that. And that's why I'm here doing this today, because I'm so passionate about helping people realize how fucking powerful they are. Helping people realize that you can literally have and do whatever you want. You just need to break down these limiting beliefs, these barriers that society has like programmed into you since birth. You just have to rewire the subconscious mind. You have to dive down this spiritual journey and take the hard road. It's not easy, but I'm telling you guys, it is the most rewarding thing that you can ever do. And I'm here to help you through the process. And then we unlock our true power. So through meditation and mindfulness, we start to quiet the mind and we'll start to access this higher awareness of thinking, this higher awareness of being. We'll start to attract better people in our lives, better opportunities in our lives. We'll start to become better people. And that's what it's all about, guys. I truly believe that we're here to become the highest versions of ourselves. I believe that Earth is school, like a testing ground. And I've noticed this in my own experience, just with what I've been through. I've grown so much and so immensely in the past, just even few years. And I know that any single time I'm faced with a challenge, like anytime that something is seemingly negative in front of me based on my perception, I know that I'm supposed to learn something. I'm supposed to grow from this experience. What you go through, you grow through. And that's the growth mindset that you need to have. If you don't have that mindset, you have that pessimistic mindset, like, why are these things happening to me? It's just going to continue snowballing and you're going to stay stuck and stagnant. Stagnancy in nature, if something ceases to grow, it starts to die. That means stagnancy is equivalent to death, right? So if you cease to grow, you start to die. You want to continue growing, continue learning, continue understanding, continue working on yourself, becoming the best version every single day, and just get on this path of growth. And in turn, you will be rewarded in beautiful ways. Breath work and energy practices, these are something that I teach within the community as well. Breath work has changed my life. Robert in here as well. He's a big advocate of breath work. Same with Kevin. And we we get on breathwork sessions every single Monday, and it's such a beautiful experience. And for him specifically, it really helps him get into that meditative state of mind. And same with me. I start my day every single day with like a 30-minute breathwork session, and it really gets me in the zone, really gets me going for the next, however many hours I got to get at it after it for. And then we got nature connection. So you have to align with nature. We are one with nature. We are one. We are all one. And when you start to understand that I can raise my individual consciousness just by sun gazing, by connecting with the earth, by putting my bare feet on the ground, I start to detox, all these things. Just holding so much gratitude for nature itself will help you raise and elevate your vibration in incredible ways. I'm in love with nature. I'm quite literally that crazy ass tree hugger. Like, you will see me in the park hugging the tree. That's okay. I don't care. Like, it's all good. Like, I'm connected to these things in such a deep way, and I love it. Shadow work and inner healing. This might be the most difficult part of the journey, because the thing is, guys, is like, we don't just have wounds from childhood, from past experiences. We also carry ancestral trauma, and they prove this through, I was talking about this earlier, they prove this through experiments on rats, where they were electrocuting these rats and they were inducing them to this cherry blossom smell. And what happened is, one second here. Well, what happened is the kids of these rats, so their offspring, would be introduced to the cherry blossom smell, and they would still fear the electrocution, even though they've never been electrocuted before. And this went on through 7 generations. So it proved that we carry our ancestral trauma through 7 generations. Think about our ancestors that went to war and all this stuff. So we came here as these like spiritual beings to like stop and to transmute this, generational trauma. It stops here. And therefore, when I have kids and I start this lineage, they're starting fresh. They don't have that trauma to carry on. And that's something that I'm really looking forward to. And that should be everyone's mindset, is I came here to get rid of the, ancestral trauma and all the curses that might be before me, whatever it might be. And that's why it's really difficult along the spiritual journey. Like, the more that you meditate, the more that you go in, the more things will start to come up. The more you'll start feeling a certain way, and you might not know why. And like I said before, this is a big thing that I teach. It's like, when you start feeling these dark days, if you have some anxiety come up, maybe a pit in your stomach, this heavy energy on your chest, it's so important to not suppress it, to just feel it, to sit with it, to literally sit in a meditation and just focus your energy there. And you will be surprised of the things that come up. Memories will start coming up from the past, experiences that you forgot about, traumas that you might have forgot about, betrayal, abandonment, whatever it might be. Start coming to the surface and you're like, damn, I forgot about that. And that's causing things in the body. It's these emotions that are stored that cause ailments and sickness. Emotions are energy in motion, and we get them stored within us because a lot of times we'll just suppress and suppress and suppress. I know in my experience in the past, I used to be a very, very angry person. And I realized what I did was I built all of my peace on top of my anger. I never actually dealt with it. I never actually went back to that person, forgive myself, and let it out, right? So it's caused some internal things as well. And, it's a never-ending process. This journey we're on is all about healing. It's all about growing. It's all about becoming the best versions of ourselves. And we're going to be faced with a lot of shit in between. So get ready for that. It's difficult, but like I said, it's difficult, but it's the most rewarding. And then, of course, we have conscious intent manifestation. We can understand that we can shape our reality to whatever we desire. Let's create, a life of freedom for ourselves, of abundance, of community, whatever it is we want, we can have it. We just need to decide, and the universe will start to move. And we need to become those people in the process, because you never attract what you want in this life. You only attract who you are. And then, we got to trust our intuition, break free from external control. And that's one of the biggest things, is when you see information from whoever it might be, you have to really trust your gut and know if that information is serving you or not. And the politics is a great example of this, like seeing like Trump get in and everything that they're doing, it looks good on the outside. You know, RFK is taking down like, you know, Big Pharma and all this stuff, and you know, going to get the GMOs of the food, all these things. Seemingly looks good, but intuitively, the way I feel is this is all a part of their agenda, and I don't, you know, I'm not fucking with their system at all, and I'm just focusing on myself. So that's the biggest thing. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I'll open this up to some Q&As here. I am fired up right now. 1 second here. All right. See this. Quick callback here. There we go. What you guys think?
I'll give you an A+. That was good. It was good.
I know Robert's got something to say. Yeah, man. Like it's at the end of the day, guys, it's super, super important to understand these things. You just have to know the truth. They always say the truth will set you free. And that's absolutely and utterly a fact. The truth will set you free. When you start to realize the truth of our reality, the nature of this design, all of it, the foundations, exactly, all of these things, it will set you free. This is why I speak so freely about, you know, I don't believe that the earth is stationary and we live on the stationary plane with hills and valleys. I don't believe that. I know that for a fact. I would lay down my life for that because I truly know that that is the absolute truth, right? I know that everything is a lie. And I have found the truth, and I just haven't found the truth in like research. I go out and I observe things for myself with my own eyes and my own senses, things that people ignore. People ignore their own eyes. If we were indoctrinated since birth to believe that the sky is purple, there is a majority of people out there that will believe the sky is purple. Absolutely, no doubt. If you get told a lie enough, it starts to become a piece of your reality. And that's just a fact, right? So understanding these truths and understanding this wisdom is the first step in awakening. And the second step is understanding yourself. They always say to know thyself. That's why it's important to question. Absolutely. It's super, super important to question everything. I always say that. Just question everything. And you can even question it just like internally question it. Like, is this serving me? Is this like what they're trying to tell me? Is that serving me? Does this make sense to me intuitively? And you'll find the answers a lot within. I always say that all the answers are right here. You don't have to look for them. They're all right here, right? What do you got, Kev?
No, that was good. I'm just soaking it all in.
Nice. Gina, you've been quiet.
Well, I don't know if I have service because last time I parked here, I didn't have service.
We can hear you.
Okay. No, I thought it was great. And today, I always feel like some reason I get stuff in advance. So today it was crazy because all the answers that I have been looking for were coming today. And everything I've been like working for in certain areas were just like falling in place. And it was just crazy because like you said, like you don't have to go searching for it. Like it's also searching for you. And there were answers that like I needed that was just popped up. Like so many things were happening today. And it was just like this amazing day. So everything kind of resonated for sure with me.
Love it. I love it. Can you guys do me one favor? After this call, can you go into the discussions and highlight the one thing that you learned on this presentation, the main thing that you took out of it? And we'll start a little bit of a discussion board there because I want to get as much engagement as possible on the general discussion board. So just take the one thing that you learned, the one thing that you took out of this conversation, this beautiful presentation by Mr. Shelley himself, and highlight it in the discussion board. I would greatly appreciate that. Guys, got any other questions for me? I know you got something. Someone's got something. Rox G, you're good to go.
Hey, so I was, thank you very much. It was very powerful. Appreciate it.
No problem.
I'm just curious, if you are, do you believe that there is good forces fighting for humanity, Q and all that? Like, do you agree that we are eventually will be redeemed, like redemption?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's the nature of things, right? So for just as much evil there's just as much love. And the truth of this is the good forces that we're talking about, it's us. It's us. It lies within us. And there are obviously some other external forces as well at play, but I genuinely believe that there is a vast majority of us who came here with the intent and the purpose to raise the vibrational frequency of the earth. That's why you see when, we do sessions like this, when you see like global meditations and all that stuff, and we facilitate these things, the Schumann resonance starts to go crazy, the frequency of the earth. That's how we start to shift the harmony and the vibration of the earth. And at the same time, crime rates go down, war goes down, suppression goes down, all that stuff. And they can actually measure these things. So I believe that we're the ones who are the good forces that came here to make the change. And the change starts within us. And, there's also something to be said for, other beings that, these angelic armies, the Galactic Federation, all these things, you know what I mean? That, are helping and assisting humanity as well. So I believe that there is a plethora of good forces, but the main thing is to focus on us, is to focus on, I know for a fact, if I raise my vibration and I become more of a light, I light up other people around me and it becomes contagious. Raising my vibration alone in turn raises the vibration of earth. And that's how we ascend. That's how I always talk about this, right? Low vibrational entities can't come around high vibrational people. That's why low vibrational people can't access things like angels and ascended masters. They don't have the guidance, right? Because they're low vibrational. It literally can't come around. It's the opposing force, right? I had this experience. I've talked about this many times. I don't know if you guys are aware of this story, but I used to have this reoccurring dream and it was a nightmare. And these like demonic energies or entities were chasing me in the dream. They were like Dementors from Harry Potter, right? And I was always running away in the dream. I was so scared and so much fear to go back to sleep, waking up terrified, crying, like, oh, it was terrible. And then one dream changed my whole perspective on how to deal with like these like low vibrational entities. So I was in the same sort of setting in the dream. These Dementors are chasing me. And then out of nowhere, I stopped and I said, I love you. And as soon as I said, I love you, they all stopped and died in their tracks. And then I woke up bawling my eyes out, crying, just knowing that love was the answer. Love is the most powerful emotion there is. It rests at the opposing spectrum of evil. So how do we defeat evil? It's fucking love. It's not by feeding the evil and like, oh, these people are doing this and this and this and this and this. And like, it's not by feeding it. It's literally by raising our vibration and becoming the highest and greatest versions of ourselves. And this shit's going to go away. We're going to experience a beautiful reality. I know that for a fact. So to answer your question, yes, there are external forces that are helping, guiding, assisting humanity. But I believe we are the main force we are the change that we need to see.
Yeah. Over like the last 4 months, I've been on such a journey of raising my vibration. I've kind of cut out like everything in my life, and as opposed to good, like, all the things that kind of brought me down. And then now that I connect back with people, and then people just see me because I've been kind of hiding out in my farm and not really going and doing anything. But now that I'm bumping into people and I've been working a little bit more, going back to work a little bit, and people are noticing a change. People are commenting to me about it, like in a sense. And so I found that I was always worried about what was wrong with the world. I was always researching, oh, I can't believe it. And I was always trying to educate people about what's wrong with the world. And like people always came to me about like organic food, came to me about health and all that stuff, because I was always trying to be a healthier person, but I wasn't vibrating at my highest level. I was still going out partying and doing all these things that weren't healthy for me. But I found that meditating, like breath work, and the consistency of doing the same thing every day and the same thing every night, like unnegotiables. And that made me where I could handle other things. Like Sheldon, I was a very negative person. I was angry. There was a lot of things. I would run huge crews of guys, and I did it out of fear. I would make people afraid of me because it was easier to deal with that than it was to build someone up. If I could tear the strip out of one person, then the 90 other guys that were staring at me at like some venue somewhere in the world would just be terrified of even opening their mouths, and it got my job done faster. But then I realized if I built everyone up, then, you know what I mean, it's so much better. So now that I've known that I've started to vibrate higher, and I've just tried to concentrate on vibrating higher, I don't worry about other things. I don't worry about what things are. It's like, hey, well, that person's doing that. I was like, well, don't worry about it. Just worry about you. Just worry about you and vibrate higher. And I think that's the answer to what Rox was saying, is that what do you do? Is like, you vibrate higher because that will enable other people to vibrate higher. And it's almost like just like misery loves company, so does, but people are attracted to good things. And it's like, you know what I mean? So you have a choice. You can be a negative person and you can attract all that misery, or you can be a positive person and attract all that light. And there's no light without darkness. So as dark as we think the world is, it's just the yin and yang. There is the light out there, and it may be harder to find right now because like we don't have church bells anymore. Like, like church bells used to, the erate when you would ring a church bell, negative energy would go away. And they've got rid of church bells. They've got rid of all these things. They made it so hard for us, but they can't get rid of us, and they can't get rid of like our vibration. So that's what kind of I've learned.
Yeah. And I've noticed that within you too. Like, since Robert was one of the first people to join the community, and like very, very aware of the, control mechanisms that are in place and the darkness that's been going on in the world. But started putting these things into practice more and more and more every single day. And just like the short amount of time, I think it's been like a month that he's been in here, like I've noticed a massive change within yourself. So it's like, it's beautiful. Like we have a choice of where we get to choose to focus. And when we constantly feed the fear and feed the mechanisms that are in place, it keeps us in a lower vibration. And I was like a victim to this for a long time, where it's like, I just knew the dark side of things, and it consumed me. And it made me a very angry person. I was mad at the world, right? And that's kind of what they want. They don't want you to find this. And when you do find this, you start to raise your vibration, find beautiful people like all of us in here. That's when we take our power back. And that's when we create a world for ourselves. So we're well on our way. Andy, give her brother.
First of all, thank you so much for everything. Like, it's truly inspiring. And well, what I struggle the most is that how can I truly focus on maintaining that consistency and passion for keeping up with my morning routines, night routines, and applying actually everything, and not falling for procrastination or low vibrational habits, because at some moments I can feel like I'm so tired that I don't even think about anything, and I just fall and scrolling or doing those things. So it's kind of hard to break that cycle.
I understand for sure. The first thing that I would recommend is watch the module in the classroom, formulating a rock solid daily routine. Watch that module and start applying those techniques. Second thing is, it's discipline over everything, right? The amount of discipline you have is going to equal the amount of freedom you have. And one thing that has really, really helped me, so you see this little board right here. One thing that's really helped me, and one thing that I read it in this book, and I'll recommend this book to you. It's called No Excuses by Brian Tracy. It's all about the power of self-discipline, because I struggled with this for a long time as well. But when you actually write your goals down, daily goals, long-term goals, medium goals, whatever it might be, write your daily goals down. So in the morning, affirmation, stretching, breath work, gym, sauna, cold tub, upload new video, post to X, Facebook, blah, blah, blah. I'm up tonight's live. Do all this stuff, right? And then you start to check it off. So do my affirmations first thing in the morning, check it off. What you do is you actually start to activate the success mechanisms in your mind. Now, these success mechanisms, they're not automatic. Your failure mechanisms are. So what you were talking about right there, how easy it is to just sit there and scroll, and when you're tired, those are your failure mechanisms. That's the path of least resistance, right? So it's the easiest path to walk. Therefore, it's automatic. But what you start doing when you write your goals down every single day and you checking them off is those success mechanisms start getting activated in the brain. And then it starts becoming more automatic. So in my experience, when I started doing this, bro, and checking these goals off every single day, it stopped like, it's like, oh, I got to do this now. It was just like, I'm just getting it done. Yeah, it's just automatic now. It's just, now I'm in that groove where it's like, and I noticed this with the gym, right? The gym, I've been in the gym for years. The gym is just such an automatic habit for me. There's not a day where I don't go. And I don't even realize it because I enjoy it. And I'm at the point where I enjoy writing my affirmations. I enjoy doing my breath work. I enjoy doing that because I know how beneficial it is for me. That's the big thing, right? So that's one thing that I highly suggest. Write your goals down every single day and check them off. Actually, like, done, boom, check them off and have it in front of you. And that'll make a big difference for you for sure. Let's go. Pastor, you're up, bud.
Oh, yeah. Two things. I was going to say to Andy too. I just started like a 60-day challenge for myself. So I wrote everything down, things I have to do every day and the things I can't do within those 60 days. And then if I break anything, I got to restart the count. So just to keep myself disciplined, but like literally I write everything down. I got in my book 1 to 60 and I just circled the day I'm on. So that's helped me a ton. And then I want to ask Robert, because I think I've heard you mention it before, the Gateway tapes. Have you,
Yes.
You've done those? I just started yesterday.
Yeah, I'm actually redoing them again.
Yeah.
Because I got it on Hotmart, so it's like it's the exact same as the Gateway, but it's the alpha numeric, whatever. But that's the one where you have to really like, especially the penile gland decalphysization. I can't even say it. That's the one where that's the non-negotiable. You got to do it every single, like there's 6 of them and you repeat them, or it's 5 of them. That's
Right.
the most important. But the biggest thing there is like there's the meditations, then there's the frequencies, and then also like that's where you do the out of body experiences and all that. Like that one there really helps me keep my mind quieter when I meditate. Like,
Right.
like I started them again because I was trying to do the Neville Goddard, the leaf thing where you count leaves. You
Yeah.
heard about this?
Yeah.
So you count these leaves and you're supposed to count them and let them hit the water and let the water ripple. And you're supposed to hit 50. And like, I would have trouble doing 1 where it would all of a sudden something would happen. And I just couldn't keep a thing on it. So I was realizing, I was like, okay, maybe like the other thing didn't take again. So I went through the process again. You know what I mean? And I think that one is the consistency of that one. It's like everything, it's consistency. And I found that, so I restarted it like, I think like 6 days ago. So like, I just restarted again because I did it a year ago and I was like, okay, well, I'm not perfect at this meditation stuff yet. Like, and then what I'll do is I've had the time though, because I've just taken time off work. So I'll sit for an hour and then like I was like Sheldon was saying, memories will come back. And at first I was like, that's a distraction. And I was trying to get rid of them, but I was like, no, then I was realizing, no, that memory came back for a reason. So then I would just tell myself, okay, thank you for showing me that. You know what I mean? And then I would send it off. But that
Right.
was like, but consistent, like everything, it's consistency. It's doing it the same over and over again.
Because I
Did
just
you
saw them
try
on
the tape?
Spotify. So I don't know if those would be the legit ones. It seems like they are, but so I just wanted to ask you. Because I know you can
Yeah.
buy them, but people say don't buy them because you can get them free. So
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I just don't know about it comes with a lot of PDFs, like a lot of like the first time I did it a lot on like, I didn't really get into it as far, like looking at all, like there's a lot of information, a lot of like to read and stuff like that. So maybe what I can do is maybe I'll make a file of all the PDFs to kind of do, because it's all the old CIA files about, you know what I mean, about meditation and also about out of body experiences and everything. But so I found that I didn't do enough of the research and only did
Yeah.
the practical.
Drop that in the discussions too.
Yeah, I'll have to put it together because they don't make it easy to share. Let's just say that. You know, they want you to buy it. And the thing is, I've tried to like turn people on to this other one, but they disappear so quickly. And I think it's the powers that be don't want us to know it. Like it's really hard to find the information out there. Maybe if you got on the dark web, I'm not a really dark web guy. I'd love to be able to do that, but I'm afraid to go on it. But only because I don't want to be tracked. There's like, do about 40 steps to make sure no one finds where you are. But I really think that they don't want you to know about it. Like it's one of those things. So maybe I'll try and put together a package. And
Yeah, because I'm a little afraid of the gateway tapes because, like, I know in the CIA documents it says too, like, you got to be careful with it. Like, if you jump too fast, like things can literally happen. Like one guy gave an example of like, say you want to manifest $100,000. It could happen, but if you do it too quick, it could be because one of your family members dies and you inherit it. So it's like, oh, shit. So
there's always trust the process, but I think a lot of it is just they want to put a lot of fear in it because they don't want you to do it.
that's a good point too.
I really think that's it. Whatever we do is like, don't get in touch with yourself.
Remember what I was saying earlier too? It's like the information that you consume, you just got to take it as a grain of salt, all of it. And
Sure.
it's like, whatever resonates, if it resonates, okay, that's your truth. That's the truth. If not, just leave it. So,
and a lot of it is just frequencies that you're feeling, you know what I mean? So it's a lot of it is just like, it's just helping you, like, you know, just be quiet in your mind and just, you know, open up, you know, just be comfortable in your own quietness. I think that's the most important thing.
God is found in the stillness.
There you go. Belden always with the quotes.
Actually, Andy threw that in there, I'm pretty sure, earlier in the call. But guys, remember, drop one thing that you learned either in this little Q&A or in the presentation in the general discussions for me, please. I would greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you guys on the next call.
Sounds
Sounds
good.
good.
Appreciate all y'all.
Awesome.
See ya.